It's Keisha of New World Tarot, and thank you so much for joining me today for our New Moon in Libra vlog. And it is right now, it's a bit overcast, but it generally is such a beautiful, early autumn day. And already, we have the leaves are starting to turn a little bit, which it's, a beautiful thing to behold. And I hope, to be honest though, it's a little sad for me personally, though autumn certainly is a wonderful, magical time of the year, and it has lots of gifts. Of course, we have some of my favorites being the return of pumpkin coffee, pumpkin ale. I love pumpkin ale, and of course Halloween, and Thanksgiving. And those are all awesome times of the year that I look forward to so much. But at the same time, it also signals our descent into winter, which again, even winter has its gifts and its lessons. However, I personally am a summer girl at heart, so it's a little sad, a little bit grieving process to see this start to happen, so yeah, so that's started, and we are going to continue with our lesson. This Monday, October 8th, we welcome a new moon cycle. And this is heralded by the new moon. And this new moon arrives in the sign of Libra. So what does this mean for us? Now, the new moon is the beginning phase of the moon cycle. And this is the time when the cycle resets itself. It's the time when the moon cycle starts anew. And by association and correspondence, we also can start anew. So the new moon, also known as the dark moon, is a time for new beginnings. It's the time for fresh starts, for manifestation, and for declaring our new intentions. It's the time to start over, to really let the past be the past and recommit to our goals and intentions. Now, each new moon arrives in a different sign, and to many of us, this is the perfect way to organize and really make sense of the complex machinations and different layers and gears of our lives. Okay, so in any one day, if someone should ask you, what do you want? You may rattle off a list of things, each in a different category. And though you can do things to work towards all your goals simultaneously throughout the year, and I definitely encourage you to do that, it can definitely be of benefit and help with your sanity to place emphasis on one major area of your life for 1 month at a time. And how blessed are we that nature actually provides us a way to do this. So this October 8th, the new moon arrives in the sign of Libra. And Libra is a beautiful sign. Libra is all about balance and harmony. It's a sign about fairness and justice. And it's ruled by the planet Venus, which of course Venus is named after the Roman goddess of beauty. And because of this desire for beauty and harmony and equality and peace, people born under this sign are the most likely to be in a relationship, or the most likely to desire or need to be in a relationship. Though there are certainly exceptions to this rule, the sign of Libra is least likely to really want to go it alone. So, this new moon in Libra, we're going to explore our relationships with others and just talk about how to manifest and create not just any type of relationship, but the type of relationship in which all parties benefit from and grow together. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, so I want to start by asking, how are your relationships with others? How are your relationships with others? And for this month, though any relationships can apply, we're going to focus on your personal relationships, lovers, spouses, family members, friends. Do you feel that your relationships are healthy, strong, vibrant, and providing sustenance and growth to all parties involved? Or, basically, does your involvement with those closest to you really result in loving energy, that you can spread around and feed back into the rest of the world? Okay? Or do you struggle in this area? So naturally, we're all in different places in this regard. And some of our relationships could be going very well, and yet others could be very challenging, if not downright nightmarish and negative. So how can we generally improve the quality of our relationships and move that sliding scale, from the negative, toxic, energy depleting end of the scale and slide it up, up a lot of notches to the positive, life affirming, love generating, joy creating end of the scale. All right, so the very first thing we can do to improve the quality of our relationships may seem on the surface to be a selfish act. All right, just bear with me though. The first thing that we need to do to check in with ourselves and get our relationships on track is to check in with the level of our self-love. So the first thing that you should do is check in with the level of your own self-love. Okay, yeah, that's right. So I want to know, how are you treating yourself? Are you loving yourself? And I didn't ask you if how do you look? I didn't ask if you always made sure your nails are done, your hair is did, or, are your clothes pressed and matching on point? So yes, these things could be an aspect of taking care of yourself, in a physical level. And I encourage you to do them if this will make you feel good. But beautifying your outside is not the same thing as self-love. Self-love is recognizing that you are a priceless, one-of-a-kind, powerful being that needs and deserves to be loved, and that you are someone who has plenty of love and good to give to others and to the world. Okay, so again, self-love is recognizing that you are a priceless, one-of-a-kind, powerful being. All right, and that you're someone that needs and deserves to be loved and who has plenty of love and good to give. So when you love others, when you love yourself, you recognize that you're not perfect and you make mistakes, but those mistakes do not diminish your worth or what you have to offer. So why is self-love so important in creating harmonious relationships? At the most simplistic level, how you treat yourself is how you teach others to treat you. Okay, so one more time, how you treat yourself is how you teach others to treat you. If you are disrespected, preyed upon, abused, neglected, ignored, you're essentially showing to the world that is how you are to be treated by others. You are inviting that into your relationships. On the other hand, if you are respected, treated with kindness, loved, fed well emotionally and spiritually, and cared for and protected, then that is how you are showing the world to treat you. You would be inviting that into your relationships. Okay? So a longer answer as to why self-love is crucial to grow harmonious relationships is due to the cyclical nature of energy. Your relationships are the product of the energy that all participants put into it. This energy, in turn, will flow back into your individual life as a single person. This energy then goes back out again into the relationship, and this continues ad infinitum until the conclusion of the relationship, which, let's be honest, often can mean for many, many years on to the death of one of the participants. So your power to create or change a relationship, therefore, lies with you. It begins with you. It begins with your personal power and yourself as an individual. It never begins with the other person. And the energy you must bring in, that starts with you. Okay? The energy you must bring in is loving, compassionate energy. And this must begin at ground zero, yourself. It starts with yourself, treating yourself as you want to be treated, and radiates outward to those closest to you, and then even further outward to the world. So what can you do if you suspect that you are not loving yourself enough? Well, the short answer, is to start ASAP. It's extremely important. And when we do not love ourselves, it stops up the flow of the stream, the spiritual stream that we swim and move and dance in on a daily basis. Okay? When that happens, we have no fresh flow to offer the rest of the world. We stagnate in our own waste. The waste of self-hatred and lower frequency emotions like anger, fear, and depression. And when we have these at the level of ourselves, that's all we have to offer anyone else. The waste just continues to circulate out and back and forth. And just like in the physical world, with no fresh higher quality of water or energy introduced, the quality just continues to degrade and degrade with each pass. Okay? So, getting started on the path to self-love is easy. All right, I encourage you to start right away, like today, like right now. You know, I love you. You know, it means, and you need to say that you love yourself. So right now, say it with me now. All right, so deep breath and say it with me. I love myself. Deep breath. Say it again. I love myself. Deep breath. I love myself. Place your hands on your heart and just say it a few times with me again. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. Beautiful. Excellent. All right. So you're already started on your path. Getting started is easy, okay? However, the process of accepting this as truth can be very difficult, and that's okay. But you're going to keep saying these words, you know, keep saying them daily, multiple times daily. You can also pick up a good book on the subject. And two that come to mind are Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It by Kamal Ravikant, I believe. Kamal Ravikant. And also Radical Self-Love by Gala Dharma. And these books, both these books are very different in tone, so I encourage you to check out the reading sample feature on like Amazon or Barnes & Noble to see if one or both of these are going to resonate with you. And of course, these are probably such larger sellers that they might even have them at Barnes & Noble, so I encourage you to actually go there and check it out and see if it's something that with either of these books, or perhaps another one, will be something that you could learn from. Okay? Because there are, of course, even more books out there about loving yourself. I encourage you to look into one and get reading. And I also would encourage you to find help. So please talk to a counselor, a spiritual counselor, or someone that you trust about growing more self-love for yourself. This is so, so vitally important. So please make steps to do that today. All right? And a final reason that self-love is important is because it raises your judgment and your standard for who is acceptable to commence personal relationships of choice with, okay? So that's what we're kind of going to be calling, you know, lovers, friends. These are personal relationships of choice. Unlike family, which you don't really have much say on what family you land into, with your personal relationships of choice, lovers and friends, you do have choice, okay? All right? And you know, and let's be honest, though all humans need and deserve love, all right, there are a lot of people out there who are parasitic and have no intention of giving, only taking until literally there's nothing left to take from but a husk, and then they will just simply move on to the next. That, you know, unfortunately, that is the life lesson that some people have arrived at. You take and swallow and pillage and steal and exploit what you can, and then you move on, you know, kind of like corporations, you know. So loving yourself now will help to weed out those that are worthy of entering your personal sphere from those that are not. So that's also very important, you know, like the title of the movie goes, and again, I'm showing my love of scary movies. You got to let the right one in, okay? All right, so after self-love, what else can we do to cultivate harmonious relationships? It is also extremely important to practice compassion. Compassion is empathy for others. It's an understanding that though people may be acting in a way that is against how you would act or think in a way, you know, that is counter to how you think, it basically states that you can understand their perspective and kind of see where they're coming from. This is also something that can be very, very hard to do. Trust me, I get it. Compassion is not the same, though, as pardoning or agreement. It is all about recognizing the connectedness of the human race over the differences. It is about recognizing that our perspectives are all the result of our different experiences. And as our experiences on this earth are extremely varied and literally all over the map, the resulting perspectives that we've adopted are similarly extremely varied and all over the map. Let's, as an example, you know, let's say the family that we're born to and the formal education that we've been given, you know, the pain we felt and dealt with, the healing we've received, These have all come from different sources, much of which were given to us through no asking of our own. So when you meet someone who has a very different perspective than you, it's likely because they traveled a very different earth journey than you, and thus have come to very different conclusions. All right, so for example, a woman born to a loving family and a very socially successful family, by the time she's arrived at adulthood, may have come to the conclusion that there are two basic choices in life. All right, her two basic choices that she's arrived at are either A, to be successful, or B, to be a failure. All right, so she strives to be the successful, which is the higher of the two choices. All right, now we take another woman who was born to a very dysfunctional and harsh family, and by the time she has reached adulthood, she has arrived at the conclusion that there are also two basic choices in life. And her two choices are either to be a victim or to be a bully. And she strives to be a bully, which to her are the higher of the two choices. So you can kind of see how, depending on the path that you have made, the decisions you've made, the conclusions you've made, you could have arrived at a very, very different life perspective than someone else. So compassion is crucial in our world, and it's crucial in relationships. As honestly, what are relationships but the commingling of two or more different life perspectives? It's usually our similarities that bring us together, but nonetheless, sooner or later, our different perspectives emerge, and these can begin to throw waves and storms into what was once a smooth sailing sea. And compassion is one of the most sensible and effective ways to diffuse turbulent energies in our relationships. And yes, it can be damn hard, especially if their perspective is strikingly different than yours and you were not expecting that. So cultivating more compassion in your life could begin as simply as getting to know more and more people. The more different from you the people you get to know are, the more fertile the ground is for growing compassion. Having diversity in your friends, even just in your acquaintance relationships, is very effective. Getting to know different people will help you to see the internal commonalities among people over the more external differences. All right, so the third aspect that can be used to improve your relationships is honestly taking it to the universe. All right, so when you've done what you can, when you've taken action towards your own goals and desires, don't forget that you're not alone. You're never alone. Ask the universe, ask God, all right, ask Spirit to assist you in your goals. Do what you can and lay what you can't at the universe's feet. We're all tied together here. And sometimes, in very obvious, physically visible ways, we're tied together. But more often, we're tied together in secret ways that are not visible to the naked eye, at least at first. So, for example, if you want to create or grow new relationships that are healthy and deep-rooted and mutually beneficial, love, listen, and respect yourself. Learn to develop compassion, and then ask that the perfect new relationship or relationships be shown to you. So this can be done via meditation, hypnosis, prayer, or affirmations. The point is just to open yourself to the universe and to the possibility of this new relationship. And the same goes for the healing of existing relationships. After practicing and infusing your relationships with self-love, with love, and with compassion, put it out into the universe. That you want and expect a change in your relationships. Be open and receptive to allowing this change in your life. Miracles can happen, and they will especially happen when you allow them to happen. And finally, a side effect of incorporating more self-love, of asking the universe to guide you, of incorporating more compassion in others, the side effect of incorporating these changes into your life could very well be the development of the wisdom and the realization that a relationship needs to be severed. A relationship is just that. It's two or more people's interaction with each other. Now, you may be devoted to fostering a healthy and mutually beneficial relationship, but you can't control the minds and intent of others. You just can't. And some people are simply not into self-improvement and they're just not into spreading love into the world, and they're not into healing or helping anyone. And some people will, unfortunately, go to the grave, not learning the lessons they were placed on this earth to learn, and not teaching that lesson to anyone else. Okay, and you know, that is their choice. They struggle and they have nothing to offer others but pain and torment. Now, when you find yourself yoked to a person like this, there is nothing to do but sever the relationship. You know, if a relationship will not grow you as a person, if it will not put loving energy into the world around you, it needs to be ended in a personal capacity. I understand that oftentimes you may not be able to end the relationship completely, especially in matters of family. However, I wholly believe that oftentimes there are relationships that you have to distance yourself from. The people that you have to distance yourself from, these could even be family members. Okay? It's because when a person is again not going to let you grow, not going to let you be the amazing person that you need to be, that relationship is toxic and only offers death and destruction. All right, so when it's necessary to end a relationship, understand you may need help to do this, and we all need help. You know, in common physical tasks as well as spiritual and emotional tasks. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And if you realize what you need to do, but the idea is searing and extremely painful to you, please get help. Talk to someone you trust. Reach out to an organization or nonprofit, you know, that is experienced and trusted if you have to do that. Your health and sanity is vital to the health and equilibrium of this world. Okay, I depend on you to be strong. And again, in ways that we may not understand, but we're all together. You deserve someone who will uplift you and make you feel amazing and more buoyant and loved than you've ever felt. Okay? You deserve that. Alright, so let's now do a little oracle card draw here. So I've chosen to use for this new moon and Libra vlog the Lunar Nomad Oracle by Shaheen Miro, which is a gorgeous deck and very large as well. And what we're going to do is a bridge draw. Alright, and we are going to take out our cards, and we're going to basically choose one card to represent us where we're at today. And we're going to use another card that basically will represent our ideal of what we're going for this new moon in Libra. Alright. And we are just going to see what card we can draw that will connect us. What action can we take, basically? What should we be aware of that will connect us to our ideal goal and intention? Alright, so I'm actually going to go ahead and draw two cards here. Alright, so that will represent who we are and where we're going. And alright, so for who we are, I've chosen the woman card. Okay, and of course there's actually a woman and man card in this deck. However, you know, you got to choose one. So I've chosen the woman card. But if you're a man and happen to be watching this, it's perfectly fine. This represents us. This is going to represent us as seekers, okay, to move towards where we're heading. And then the card we're going to use to represent what we seek is the ring card. Alright, and in this deck, the ring card represents relationships, the ideal, perfect relationships, promises, contracts, fidelity, just that perfect relationship that is mutually beneficial to both parties and that feed each other and that feeds the world. Alright, the ring card. Okay, so how can we as, you know, woman, work towards our perfect relationship? So that is what we are going to draw here. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Here we have the snake. Alright, so we have drawn card 7, which is snake. And it's a beautiful card. It has the fall colors going on, which kind of matches it up. I love it. And so what is this card about? So the snake is all about, it has a few meanings, and it basically really represents our subconscious and our quote reptilian brain. It's the primitive part of our brains that we came into this world with before the more analytical and decision making brain developed, our conscious mind. And the thing about the subconscious mind is it tends to be very addictive. Okay, it tends to really like to hold on to beliefs that no longer serve it. It tends to operate out of fear and out of very instinctual drives. Okay, so basically whatever gives it pleasure, whatever, you know, makes it feel good and protected, it will hold on to. It also tends to have sort of knee-jerk reactions. And when we think about this as far as this in kind of stopping us, what's stopping us from getting our perfect relationship as represented by the ring? And it's our own natures, honestly. It's that part of us that even though we know something is not good for us, we keep coming back. We just keep coming back. And we do this over and over and over again in a cycle. And it's also that instinctive reaction, you know, just like any wild animal, you know, you kick it, you punch at it, it's going to lash back out at you, you know, and we often behave this way. And this card actually reminds us to kind of take a step back and kind of stops us from reacting in that same instinctual knee-jerk way. You know, like just because someone, we often get in these cycles of relationships where someone will say something that kind of goes straight to that sore spot, and we lash out, and they lash out, and we're both fighting, and this happens over and over and over again. And it's just something that happens because of base instinct. And this just kind of reminds us to take a step back, use your analytical brain a little bit, and just stop the madness, stop the cycling of the same BS over and over and over again. And we need to take a higher mind with our relationships and stop being so instinctual, so primitive, and so drawn by pleasure. It's like, yeah, so what? And they say the right things. Yeah, so what? The sex might be good. But at the end of the day, what is the actual relationship feeding you? It could be poisoning you. Snakes are often poison. So this is just asking you to really take a step back and end that ugly, ugly cycle by thinking about it and really kind of using your brain to figure out what's going on. And that will help us to get our better relationships here. All right. So I want to thank you so much again for joining me on this new moon in Libra vlog on this beautiful day. And I definitely hope to meet up with you next time. I believe that's going to be the full moon in Taurus. And I want to just have you enjoy the rest of this October. And, you know, as we move towards Halloween, probably my favorite time of the year, I'll probably put out a little something special for that. And I thank you so much again for joining this, and be blessed, be safe, and definitely, you know, just keep being you and take care of yourself and love yourself. Thank you so much. See you next time. Take care. Bye.